It's Miles.
It's Trouble.
It's the Make It Make Sense podcast.
Yay.
Tr3bel, how are you?
I'm alright, man. I'm hanging in there, Been just taking my time, trying to get myself right. Always develop, always advance.
Yes.
How about yourself, bro?
I'm good, right? That's the first thing you always say, I guess, in the beginning. I'm alive, yes, and that's always a good start.
Hell yeah.
So, trying to, ever since we've been doing these podcasts, it's had me very aware of spiritual energies and things, so I've been really diving into that a lot, thanks to you.
Thank you.
And
I'm glad I'm rubbing off.
Yeah, but it kind of pulls the Band-Aid off and makes you realize that there's a lot of weird energy out there. So I'm getting kind of this shock of this
How
being
many
uncomfortable.
NPCs are around you and shit.
Yeah, for sure. But we were talking about a very important man, and I don't want us to lose track on this because I'm learning about, believe it or not, Malcom X. I'm learning a lot more about him through talking to you about him, and there was a new documentary that came out, and a lot's being exposed. So you can kind of you've seen a lot of new what would you call it? You're seeing a lot of new stories and things being exposed that happened that negatively affected him. Do you mind going into that?
So, remember when I said they got until 2029 and 2030 is the year? Really, that's like their deadline to tell us everything.
Yes.
I know a lot of the times I say that in reference to like alien tech and stuff like that, but this stuff matters too. And this is a part of the information that comes out. In the 70s, they signed what was called the Freedom of Information Act that says they have to tell us about all of this stuff. There's not a specific way they have to tell us, so they can put it in cartoons and comedies and things like that. They don't have to tell us on the news.
Who made this document, or who's this involving?
This is involving the government, like I believe the FBI, and I think it was mostly the FBI. I don't think the CIA fully got brought under that realm. Definitely not the NSA. But they got basically told by the brass and also by a bunch of activists who also had their name on the bill that basically said, hey, we got to get this to where y'all got to stop lying and falsifying facts because people will never understand. So they said, okay, we'll agree to tell y'all everything.
Wow.
But it just might not be in a documentary or anything like that.
It sounds very similar to what we were talking about the last episode with why things like with Jamie Foxx and these signs that are given, they have to show them for the karma to be even.
Yeah,
sounds very similar to that.
Yeah, so that does play a hand. So at the end of the day, what they did is a lot of dirt, but they have to release it at some point. Now, some of this information is time sensitive, so they can't release it until a certain point. After a X amount of years away, stuff like that. So this is why I felt like I had to preface this conversation with this, because it translates and transmutes all the way until today. And all of these are little breadcrumbs that we have to put together to understand the bigger picture.
And are these released at certain times? So after 10 years, they can release more, 20 years more, or is it all released at the same time?
No, it's definitely some things are scaled back.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the stuff we were talking about with Malcom X. A lot of this stuff has been known since the day he died. The weeks after he died, a lot of this stuff has been known. They have proof that the FBI knew a lot of things that they were called bossy. I forget exactly what it broke down to, but it was basically an undercover police unit that was operating in New York and stuff like that. They knew a lot of stuff, and they played a big hand in the assassination of a lot of big names.
This bossy group?
Not necessarily the bossy group, but the people who they were basically in competition with, like the FBI and things like that, because they were trying to do their own thing. They were trying to get their own information, their own informants.
Right.
But they might end up trying to flip a guy who's already an FBI informant. All of this ties directly into the Malcom X story.
Wow.
Martin Luther King story. They're very, very unified, actually.
What was the biggest shock that you've learned with the current or most recent release?
I think the wildest thing is that they came out publicly. It was either the beginning of this year or the end of last year, and they said that Malcom X murder was orchestrated by higher ups. it is like you can type it in on YouTube and find the video of the guy who's explaining the whole thing and who the officer was who took place. There's the documentary on Netflix. It's amazing. I legitimately forgot the name of it, even though I like just watched it. It's trash. My bad, y'all. I messed up.
I'll look it
up.
But
it's dope, you know, and he breaks down stuff to a whole new level, but you start to really realize that the biggest fear that they have, yes, it's called Who Killed Malcolm X. So you realize the biggest thing as you unfold this is their biggest fear is that one person can say something or do something and it can actually rally everybody. We keep getting told over and over, you're told since you're a child, one person can't change the world. But they believe you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you look at that, you start to realize, hey, man, what exactly did Malcolm X say that would make him want to be assassinated? What exactly did MLK say for them to want to assassinate him? We get told a lot of things in school. I'm going to say this on the record. A lot of people are mad at DeSantis for taking the slavery out of the school books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I understand the sentiment, especially because now he's trying to push this teaching of slavery had its benefits. That's a whole nother topic, but I will.
Really?
Yeah, that guy's a fucking
wow.
Nonetheless,
Jesus.
Yeah, you tried it, but as sucky as it sounds, there were benefits. We needed to see as a culture that us being the super benevolent race wasn't going to get us anywhere when you're dealing with monsters.
Is that the...
It's a very hard lesson to learn, but I think we're still learning it. And guys like Malcolm X realized it. MLK, it took him a minute, but he started to realize it. And you know...
What realize what exactly?
That we got to be for us. And when I say we got to be for us, it's not just black people, bro. It's the culture of motherfuckers who are tired of the oppression that they are facing. How is it that the Tennessee Titans are about to build a $2 billion stadium, but people out here can barely make ends meet? How is it that they building $1 billion arenas in Las Vegas and all of this money is getting circulated? Jaylen Brown just got paid $304 million for the Celtics.
Insane, bro.
I love Jaylen Brown. I do. But
that's what everybody starts with. I love him, but then the next sentence part of it is, what is Jason Tatum going to get? But that's a whole different conversation. But I want to stay on that topic because now look at the inflation that's happening in the NBA. All of these hundreds of millions of dollars are going to players, but teachers can't make $1 million a year. You can't just make that happen. You can't have a ranking system. That teachers talk to your kids and mentor your kids almost more than your parents. I think that whole system is fucked because of it being the public servant category.
Yes, they know what they're doing. And teachers are now saying, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm not teaching these badass kids. And hell, these good ass kids are still very hard to deal with when I'm not getting paid what I need to get paid.
Right. It affects the way they treat all the kids. And I'll tell you what, I today actually went to meet the teacher with my daughter, and it's all different. It's all new teacher. Like my kids have gone to the same school because it's K through 8th. So even starting back 18 years ago? I don't know how many years ago exactly, but my son started and then his sister and now the third daughter. And it's like teachers, principals, teachers, flip-flop. It's never the same people more than 3 years. And I was just saying how I can't believe, like, they say teachers it's a benefit that they have like summers off, and like, do they get even paid for the summer off? And if they do, is it enough to fuck? They're not gonna fly to Egypt with that shit.
Right. And it's so they get a summer off because they was just with your kid for damn near a whole year.
Yeah.
Seeing them 8 hours a day while you at work.
And we love our kids, but we all know.
Come on, it's a different energy if you had to be with them all day, every single day, like these teachers
in the morning, in the afternoon, all those hours you don't really see them.
And you expect teachers to help your kid develop into a well-rounded individual when they become an adult, and they don't get enough credit for that.
They don't, man.
So
we support the teachers, if you can't tell.
Yeah, man, we support anybody whose job is extremely important for the culture of life to move forward. And that's essentially what I was saying. Like, you had the Nation of Islam who was doing this. They were giving money and starting businesses, black-owned businesses and things like that.
And they were investing in the businesses,
yes,
funding it. Okay.
Directly from like how you would look at a tithe in church.
Yeah.
They were doing that and opening businesses and then hiring their own people to work in the businesses.
Okay.
The same thing that we're watching with Francis Ngannou and the PFL. They just did a NBA thing where, you know, it's the African League. I forget exactly what it's called. But it's showing that, hey, man, we can run our own thing, but they still got their hands in it.
Right.
Why can't we just get on our own feet? And the reason is because we refuse to do the things that guys like Malcolm X was really preaching. A guy like Marcus Garvey was even preaching. And a lot of hip-hop artists really started preaching, and this is why they all met the same fate.
That's interesting you brought up about the NBA, because Ice Cube just did a circuit talking to everybody and saying how the NBA is basically just icing him out. He's like, why don't we work together? And if they're not with you, they are 100% against you.
And they're not working with Ice Cube because he wrote the Black Contract for America.
What's that?
So basically, I believe it was 2 years ago now, he wrote this contract up to basically get reparations. And you can literally go online and sign up for it, put your name on it.
What's it called?
The Contract with Black America.
Okay.
So you can go in there, you know, put your name in, get on the petition, and the goal is to ultimately get black people reparations. He has this long, drawn-out plan on there where it explains how black people only have 1% of all of the banks in America. Like these kind of things are things that we need to talk about. It's more than just we've gotten very comfortable with seeing our celebrities make a shit ton of money and nobody else get paid nearly that amount, and we vicariously live through them in that way, and that creates the structure, that creates, you know, everything being the way it is, and that's the way they want to keep it. Eliminate the middle class, everybody either rich or they poor. But something like this, Contract with Black America, levels that playing field. If you there's a guy, Phil Schneider, kind of sidetrack, but he used to build underground bunkers for the U.S. government. And he said that they spent on
What's
average,
this, Bill Snyder?
Phil Schneider.
Phil Schneider, I've heard that name. Yeah.
His story is crazy. We might go into it later because I definitely want, you know, we got to talk about the other stuff too. But this is important that we got to get on. So he explained how they spend $11 trillion a year on underground bunkers and secret technology. And he said...
The government, you're saying?
Yes. And he was saying that if you break that money down, you should be able to give every American, like $30,000 a year just in stipends or something crazy like that.
Every year?
Yes.
Jesus.
Based on the way that they have been spending money.
That's life-changing.
Anybody could change their life with that.
Yeah.
And it would clearly level the playing field. But then you level the playing field, you have no working class to work. Guys like Malcolm X came in talking about, hey, with Elijah Muhammad, where they like, hey, we are the working class in y'all mind, but we finna show y'all what our working class is. And they go and they get the unit. They have what they call the FOI, the Fruits of Islam, which was their paramilitary group. They didn't walk around with guns crazy, but they did do things. You know what I mean? I'll say this. I love the Muslim brothers, but they definitely are very good at covering their dirt a lot better than us and as just street brothers.
Oh, okay.
They get down with it. And there was people that got
well,
touched.
Apparently.
Yes, they got people touched back in the day. And this is what the initial issue with Malcolm was. Him and Elijah Muhammad were so close. He treated him like a son. He reached to such a high level that basically the people around Elijah Muhammad was like, yo, he gonna oversee you. You the honorable Elijah Muhammad. You the guy. You the one that showed him the light. He can't get bigger than you. Also, a lot of those people knew about a lot of the money that was getting exchanged in back channels, and they knew that if Malcolm kind of took over, that might stop. So they started planting seeds.
There it is. Yeah.
They started planting seeds. So him and Elijah Muhammad are on the verge of splitting. The FBI is aware of this. They've been tagging Malcolm since he got out of prison. Now,
They're just sitting back watching all this unfold.
Yeah, they have informants already inside of the Nation of Islam that nobody knew. They say the day that Malcolm X was killed, there was 9 informants in the building.
Damn.
That's insane. Out of 400 people, you got 9 government officials in there, and you would not know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and an informant is an extension of a guy. They're not a complete agent. Like, they don't work directly for
Probably
it.
more like a double agent. When they call, is what they call that?
Kinda, but you started off doing dirt. You just agreed to snitch or do something else to keep you from doing major time. That's an informant.
Oh, okay. They turned him.
Yeah. So they even proved that the head of Malcolm X's security detail was a undercover agent.
Wow.
Like, he even acknowledges it on the Who Killed Malcolm X.
If you're gonna have someone be that guy, that's
the one.
That's the one, man.
So
the protection.
You have all of these kind of things going on where they're saying Malcolm X's life might get came for by the Nation of Islam, and they have countless wiretaps and things like that, basically showing that they weren't happy with him because of some things that he said. And at the end of the day, during this process, Malcolm X went over to Mecca for real, and he realized that he was pushing a little too much hatred himself, and he had to kind of rekindle what he was doing because he was going at everybody, MLK, anybody who wasn't talking about that action,
coming in hot.
He had your head. Yeah. So he had to realize there's no way that all of us can unify and actually be the power structure that we should be if I'm acting like this.
Yes.
So he comes back. Basically, he had got banned by Elijah Muhammad from speaking publicly at this point because of something he said about Kennedy. Then during this point, he has this premonition, like, holy cow, why don't I talk to guys like Martin Luther King, why don't I talk to these people and we can unify our powers?
Almost like LeBron James making a power team.
Yeah.
And being a robot. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while since we called out the bot, man.
If you finally he said it. It took 13 episodes. Go ahead.
I ain't say nothing. I just said,
we heard it.
So at this point, Malcolm X had went through a lot. He's basically at odds with the entire Nation of Islam almost, and
why at this point is he at odds even with
So the whole Elijah Muhammad was the head of the Nation of Islam.
Oh, because of him.
And basically it was the Kennedy situation where JFK got killed. Elijah Muhammad was like, look, everybody respect JFK. Don't say nothing crazy about JFK.
It's absolutely amazing. JFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X was all in the same
era.
I mean,
wow. It's just stuff like that. They realized, though, quick, because from what I heard is JFK was about to go say some shit at that speech. I mean, some shit.
Do you see a reality if they don't get all snuffed that they unite and change the dynamic of the world or
of course,
the US?
That's why they have to kill. That's why they have to make sure it doesn't happen. But the problem is we, as the people, keep allowing that shit. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't give a fuck how strong nobody is. You cannot beat 1 million fucking people without killing yourself too. So they have to subdue you. They have to make you not care about the fight. They have to give you trinkets and tools. There was a movie I watched where the guy was talking about if I want to own a village and all of the people, they're thirsty, right? He was like, what do you think I do? You think I just give them the water for free? No, I hoard all the water for myself. I had to say his accent.
Was this Shaka Zulu?
No. No, I don't remember what this was. This was some movie I seen a while ago. But he's like, I hold all the water for myself. And then when I hold all the water for myself, eventually they know I'm the man with the water. They come ask, you do a job for me, I give you water. Everybody gets a cup of water. They're not complaining. But if they knew how much water I really had, they would actually come and fight me. And there's no way I could take on an entire village.
Ah, interesting.
So you control the resources, you control the people.
Yeah.
So this is something that guys like Malcolm X was really preaching. You know what I'm saying? We need to generate our own. And every time people get snuffed out. When you look at Tulsa, Oklahoma, I mean, they literally dropped a bomb on Tulsa because it was Black Wall Street. It was literally Wall Street that was more efficient than the white Wall Street in New York. White people was coming to Tulsa to go to Black Wall Street.
Was that the Oklahoma City bombing?
No, it was a Tulsa, Oklahoma. It happened in, I believe it was 40.
Oh, okay.
41, I believe the year was. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But basically, Black Wall Street was located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was the most booming, bustling area in America at this time when it came to finances. Black people owned all their businesses. And there was multiple places like this all across America. We have the case of most of these places randomly getting flooded out. And you have cities that are literally under lakes right now that were all black cities.
How do they do that?
That goes, I think, into them having tech they didn't know we wasn't supposed to know they have. Because I don't know how the fuck you flood out an entire town either.
Well, they do seeding, like cloud seeding, where they can force it to rain. But
to think back then,
yeah. Well,
I mean, the stuff that we know, that we know. Like Stephen Greer, side note, just came out when they did that UFO briefing that you told me about.
Oh, we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot.
Yeah, so he, during literally the same day that they did that, Stephen Greer comes out and he is top ranking official when it comes to this UFO stuff and as far as the classifying stuff and stuff like that. So he went to Vlad TV, goes on Vlad TV and does like a 2-hour interview, and in that part of that interview he talks about them having, he said, the show The Jetsons, they had that kind of tech then. We could have all really been living like the Jetsons then.
Wow.
They're just not gonna give it to the public.
I'm gonna side note your side note. There's a theory that the Flintstones are the ground and the Jetsons are in the sky because they're made by the same people right about the same time. Think about that movie.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because the timeline somehow matches up, and it's Hanna-Barbera. It's the same people.
Yeah, that's a crazy plot twist right there. I never considered that.
But this is a good time to pivot. And thank you for explaining the Malcolm. I have to watch it more to get more context, but I think you broke it down beautifully. I'm very interested, and I will watch it, and we have to come back to that. But I gotta pivot to the alien. I mean, why does nobody care? Like, no, I heard someone said they're literally gonna have to take an alien body and slam that shit on the table for someone to go, and then still people will be like, nah, that's not real. That's not real.
Because the plan is working.
Tell me, what's the plan?
Keep everybody so oversaturated by it. You're not blown away by it.
Yeah.
But it's what's with everything. Dude, you can literally be like, yo, they're really stealing children all over the world, and children are coming up missing, and there's at least 70,000 kids that go missing a year, and people will go, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Well, I mean, caring is a start, goddamn.
Yeah, caring is a start. Is that a product of just keeping everybody so overstimulated and overworked? And
yeah, also, but I think the powers that be understand the human psyche more than the human psyche than we want to accept. Because when you move to a higher vibration, you move outside of human psyche. So the people who are stuck in the human psyche are the ones who are stuck in the matrix. Think about the movie. You gotta get plugged in and go travel with your consciousness somewhere else. To get in the matrix, but that becomes such a real life for people. Detaching and actually looking at how fucked up everything is makes them look like they might be a fucked up person in their heart because they're like, why don't I care?
True. And now their brain is completely preoccupied internally. They've gone inside, and now they're focusing on themselves, and everything else gets ignored. So that's like the recipe that we're seeing with the aliens. You think it's a similar situation?
Yeah, and then, I mean, of course, you have technology that plays a role in that. There's so much evidence and proof that, like we were talking about a little earlier, like 5G tech vibrates on the same wave as acoustic weapons and energy weapons, things like that we don't talk about very often. But they have proof of having weapons that can fire sound into a crowd and make people feel disoriented. but you don't even know that they shot it. You can't hear it because it's past the audible level.
And that's same as 5G?
Like 5G, the frequency that 5G is on is totally different the way that they use it than a 4G. So when you think 4G to 5G, most people are thinking it's the same wave kind of tech that's just amplifying. It's not. It's different. So this is what we were saying. 5G doesn't travel through walls the same way. They're gonna have to put up 5G towers all over the place because that's the only way that is gonna actually work the way they intended. But there's so much more information that can be transmitted through 5G waves, through 5G tech.
Wow, that makes me think about. And then I go down this wormhole because I sleep with my phone literally next to my pillow. I have 5G, always on. And I sleep with it right next to my pillow. And it's interesting. I sleep and we were talking about this earlier, I'll listen to stuff to try to like hypnosis and things to try to calm my mind and make me feel spiritually more balanced and blah, blah, blah. But I got this 5G phone right next to my brain when I'm sleeping. You think that's a bad idea?
I do. Also, just on the simple fact that that's a habit that they're marking down.
What do you mean?
Like, if you look up something called Project Lifelog, it is literally some of the wildest shit you'll see because they're literally explaining the process of how they were basically getting everybody's information, what Eric Snowden was talking about, but they were making personal profiles of every fucking body. They know what your favorite toothpaste is. They know what your favorite drink is. And they could mark all of these individual profiles and pull it up at will, know what ads to send you, know all of this crazy stuff. And
they
this
know
is
that
a
ass?
real thing. Huh?
They know that ass?
I said what ads.
Oh.
See, this boy here. I like ass.
Comment
too,
if you heard
man.
ass. I heard ass.
You know what I mean? I like ladies' cheeks too.
Hey, is this what you're talking about? Is it DARPA Lifelog?
DARPA.
There it
the
is.
Same people that created the we were just talking about the robotic mosquito and
robotic mosquito. What exactly is that again? Because I just learned that today.
So you have GMO mosquitoes that are man-made mosquitoes. And then you have like a robotic mosquito where it's really a robot and it's just the size of a mosquito, but they can put a camera on it and shit like that. Like, it's pretty fucking scary to think that a mosquito flying by you might not be a mosquito at all.
Bro, I've noticed the last couple episodes, you've been talking, man, I'm going to be wearing a tinfoil hat soon. I swear to God, we're talking and I see a damn mosquito-looking fly right between our line of sight.
Yeah, I think that's more like an aura thing, though. Like, animals definitely are attracted to aura energy. They can feel live presences better than like
so
people.
You mean my aura attracts mosquitoes?
Shit, they be on me too. I'm just good at playing it off, you know?
God, how do I change my aura? I change it to money.
That's what I need to fucking learn. But, yeah, man, so you have this company, DARPA. They basically, how do I word it? They the information source. They're the ones that control a lot of stuff, like what I just said, like Project Lifelog, where they categorize all of your stuff. They get all of your information and they categorize you individually and stuff like this. And they have supposedly personal profiles of everybody. And this is the reason that Facebook was created, was put on the platform that it was through Mark Zuckerberg. They used him kind of as a proxy for Project Lifelog. And this is when, you start putting all your stuff in and things like that. So I say all that to say that 5G tech itself is kind of another tool in order to basically get information at an extremely fast rate, to basically be able to categorize and personalize any individual in a matter of seconds like they can in China. Like,
for that
fact,
what is it called?
Shout out, it's called
social credit score.
Yes, that.
Yeah,
but it's bigger than that too. And shout out to Boone Chief because he just sent me a video earlier that ties right into this.
Was it an alien?
No.
he sent
I
me
did see that too. That's
Okay.
that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Actually.
What do you think about that? I'm so well. Sorry,
So
never mind.
no. Because I'll remember what I'm saying. So
Shout out to Boone. Thank you for the
yeah,
videos.
we gotta give Boone
Yeah.
a little section real quick because he be wanting us to talk about stuff just like I know y'all want us to talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he sent the video of the alien that they were supposedly having a conversation,
and
with.
it was choking, and they had to resuscitate it and all that.
I've seen a video of them doing an autopsy on the alien.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a movie.
This is an alien autopsy, right?
No.
Right,
It's
thank
legit.
Mhm.
You can't deny what you're seeing unless you just really want to.
Okay.
You can say it's fake all you want to.
Sure.
But the shit that I seen in that little clip of that autopsy was fucking insane.
Okay.
So you have that, and then you have this video that I seen years ago.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, in the video that he sent us, there was no sound.
Right.
In the video that I seen, there was an entire conversation, and everybody said this video was fake.
It's the same video, but with audio. You're
just
saying?
a little slightly different camera angle. Like this
Okay.
camera angle in the other video is a little closer,
Right.
and whoever was talking to this extraterrestrial, they were having an interview.
For some reason, I read in that a lot of people believe it was Colin Powell in there.
I don't know because you can't see who it was.
Right. Like, how does someone even know that?
Yeah, that maybe they know something we don't.
Maybe.
But what I do know is that certain presidents are briefed on the extraterrestrials, others are not.
Mm-hmm.
What I do know is that they cannot ever deny certain things like human cloning because we have, like I said, the Bill Clinton video of him standing there talking about human cloning.
Mm-hmm.
They can't deny ever the existence of extraterrestrials because even President Jimmy Carter said he's seen a UFO.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the reality is you have all of this evidence that they have to try to keep us from finding a certain breadcrumb.
Mm-hmm.
So this video, when it first comes out, I thought it was like, bro, it's fake, but maybe the audio isn't.
Mm.
Maybe what this alien is saying isn't. And they asked him, the first thing he asked, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'm you. He's like, come on, man.
Oh,
cut it
so
out.
he spoke?
Yes, in this video I seen, you might be able to find it still.
Okay.
But yeah, in this video, you can hear the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm you. I'm just from the future. We've already experienced what y'all are about to do. And there are a lot of us that are trying to keep y'all from making the same mistake we did.
And this looks like a little gray, like traditional looking alien?
Traditional gray. Mind you, okay, I'm finna go ahead and say some shit. Gray aliens, there are two different types of gray aliens. You have gray aliens that actually fuck with us, and you have gray aliens that are made by reptilians. Draco reptilian species, and also, to my knowledge, they are they also are used by the Pleiadian star people to kind of use them as their bidding.
They were not man-made, but made
by another extraterrestrial race.
Okay.
Some of them are actually organic, and then they can also clone those little things to just be little minions.
Interesting.
This is something you can learn about if you study Project Blue Book.
Yeah.
Project Blue Book is very controversial. Some people will say it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you I've seen it with my own two eyes, and around this time is when I feel like I started being watched because I read this around the time that I
Jesus
read
Christ,
Behold the Pale Horse.
As I type it into my Google search, here we go.
But at this point, this is maybe like maybe 6 or 7 years ago I read this thing, bro. So
Okay.
by now we should probably be clear.
Project Blue Book, unidentified flying object.
So you
they
have
don't even call it that anymore now.
So they're UAPs now.
Mhm.
So Project Blue Book, there's the story of Project Blue Book, the military group that they call Project Blue Book, or that they called the Project Blue Book, I think was the name of the little mission. But there's an actual book where they describe extraterrestrial races and things like this. And again, if you don't believe me, just look up Stephen Greer. He talks about a lot of this.
I mean, I just pulled it up too. I mean, one Google search and it came right up.
It comes up. This is where we're past the veil where I'm gonna be biting my tongue about things that are this declassified.
Right.
Yes, nigga, they got aliens and they know their names and they know what races they from, and you can look up a dude named Paul Hellyer, and he breaks down the extraterrestrial races that he matter of factly knows live in America and the ones that work in the White House. They never said he was crazy. They never called him a kook, and he's the former Secretary of Defense in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I was wondering. Okay, so he has some authority to speak.
Yeah, and he talks about it very openly.
Wow.
So when you start talking about these things, people call you crazy. They be like, "Oh, here you go, here you go." But again, like we said, people are so desensitized, anyways. Like, what? I don't care if you believe it, but the people who know to believe it, they know what to believe and what not to believe. And I'll be the first one to tell you, don't take everything I say at face value. Like, we talked about Valiant Thor before, off air. He was supposedly an extraterrestrial from Venus. All you gotta do is type Valiant Thor in Google, and it's gonna pop up.
I'm gonna try it.
Go ahead. And if it pops up in Google, which we know is one of the most censored.
Oh my God.
They got a picture of him on
Oh my
Google.
God. Let me show the audience. I mean, I didn't even finish writing his name and it pops up. He is a handsome man. Look at this Valiant. That's why he's Valiant Thor.
He's valiant.
So valiant.
I come from Venus and I'm valiant.
Look at this guy. Interesting. So, and what was his, just a quick thing, what was he all about again?
Basically, he came from Venus to tell the world about, hey, we do exist.
Wow.
And there's other people here that exist on your planet too. And y'all got a lot of bullshit going on, and y'all might want to cut it out before everybody die. And that's not a threat. It's a warning. Y'all are killing the planet.
Yeah. Wow, interesting.
So
Interesting.
this isn't, they describe his genealogy, like what is, like, not his genealogy, like his biology, like the way his body is made.
Oh, he let them test on him?
I don't know if they tested on him, other than him explaining how many lungs he had, where his heart was, and things like that. He came to completely just rip the veil off of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you have a guy like Valiant,
I mean,
Thor,
is the train in the studio? Jesus Christ.
Hey man,
we hear
live in
you,
a
bro.
rustling and bustling city.
Yeah.
If you from here, you understand that joke.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, you have so many stories like this. You have the story of Admiral Byrd that we talked about with him going to Antarctica and stuff like that.
That episode actually is still up, surprisingly, yes.
Yeah, because see, that's one of those ones they can say, that's just crazy talk. But nah, bro, like, we have to understand that there is something much, much bigger at play. The guy I mentioned, Phil Schneider, earlier, he got shot by an extraterrestrial. I had the proof of it because his damn fingers was melted off, and he had staples from damn near his collarbone to the bottom of his stomach.
Jesus.
And he explains the whole situation, and he explained his job, and miraculously, he gets killed, though. So I don't know. I'm starting to believe he might have been telling the truth. He went on about these extraterrestrials, like the reptilians, the Greys, things like that. He broke it all down. Multiple people have broke it down. And in Project Blue Book, they show you shit that they don't even tell you about nowhere else. I mean, I was reading about races I did not know exist, and they tell you what part of the planet they live on, what country they find them in, what climate they find them in. This is why there are certain islands I believe humans are not allowed to go on. They be like, that's off limits. It's a crazy tribe there. Oh, you're gonna see some crazy tribe when you get to that motherfucker. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of this is like something that they have to unfold again, like I say, because by 2030, my nigga, we gonna have flying cars. Now, whether everybody gonna have access to them, that the way they're planning on setting that up, I don't know.
Yeah.
What I know is technology that they have, and again, Stephen Greer is a perfect person to use as a reference to watch all of this stuff, because he breaks it down much better than I can. He worked with the Clinton campaign when it comes to declassifying certain things. So he's a medical doctor. He has enough of a name and a resume for nobody to be arguing with me about it. Right. Also, Bob Lazar, who worked for, what was it, S4, I think it was called. Yeah. And he talked about the reverse engineering of extraterrestrial craft.
Oh yeah, if anybody wants to see Bob Lazar, Rogan, great podcast, had him there for 2+ hours, just letting him slowly unpack all of that. So, and there's a great documentary, I believe, on Netflix.
Yeah,
I think
the
as
guy's
well.
name is Jeremy Doorbell.
Jeremy Corbell.
Corbell.
Yeah. He's the one that brought the Tic Tac. The guy that was also there. Yeah, all that. So out of the whole alien, congressional thing, what was the one thing that stood out to you that maybe surprised you, or was just
I mean, it's not surprising to me because the stuff that they declassifying is so on the radar. It's stuff that I read about years ago. It's shocking that it can be public effing news and people still be like, what the fuck? Who cares?
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, if you would have said, bro, they announced that they are really fucking aliens, niggas would have had an alien day.
Yeah.
We would have had a space day or something.
Yeah. I think the one thing that shocked me, and I'm pretty sure he said this, and I wanted to go back and make sure I heard it correctly, is that there was one point where I think it was OAC or whatever her name.
I know you're talking.
Oh, I forgot her initials. But anyways, I think she was asking him about if they were friendly or hostile, and he was like, particular ones he was talking about, I believe he said they weren't friendly. They had bad intentions. So that to me was like, because I always lean to think that maybe we shouldn't be too scared of them. Why would they come here and be violent? They would have been violent if they wanted to. But then again, if you tie that into being, that one alien, if you believe that and they say we're just like you, there's going to be some assholes that might travel here and start some shit too.
Yeah, I feel like that's why there's always a spin when it goes public. Again, something like Vlad TV, it's pretty... Like, it has a lot of eye on it.
I gotta watch
a lot of eyes on it. But Stephen Greer has a movie on Netflix called Unacknowledged where they break this stuff down super in depth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's definitely on Netflix. I just seen it on there. If it's not on Netflix, it might be on Prime now. But they get super in depth on there because it's a movie. They have way too many people to come forward and acknowledge their personal expertise, and all you gotta do is type in their name and you see they really had these rankings and stuff like that, to where it's like, all right, bro, what is we really talking about? It's not a discussion anymore. So a lot of the things that he's talking about is just how far ahead their tech is and how much of a better society we could be if we were allowed to have access to this tech.
Okay.
And this is why certain extraterrestrials still help us out, because they are trying to get us to speed up to that level. So I feel like when you see stuff like that on TV, it's a nice little spin on it where like now this is where they say, I can't guarantee nothing, but they say that the plan is to get us so desensitized that like you said, they would have to slam an alien on the table to where they're going to tell us there's an alien invasion, but it's not. It's really them because they have spaceship type craft like that have those capabilities. We just don't think they do.
Right.
And then we all go run into the government to suck off our tit again. And any extraterrestrial we come by, we just gonna off them and not even hear them.
Do you think that's what those military guys were seeing, was our stuff being tested, but they just aren't classified to know it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That happens a lot more than they realize.
Yeah. Yeah. But if they come out and say that, well, they can't because they don't even,
and then they don't even know. And a UFO does not mean an alien.
Right.
It literally means unidentified flying object. This is why they switched to UAP, which is
unidentified
aerial phenomenon.
Unidentified
aerial phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like,
why though?
Because
is this the projection theory?
No. This is because now you can take it completely away from the idea of a UFO coming from extra space. You can just an aerial phenomenon.
Right.
And people, the way that we just talked about people being so dumbed down and shit, they're gonna be like, oh, it's just an aerial phenomenon. Oh, it's just something.
Yeah.
They don't even consider that, yo, this thing that you seen in the sky is owned by your government, supposedly, and it's 3,000 3,000 years more advanced than any tech you got. There's something called a Tr3b, bro. You can look that shit up. It is something that people thought was a UFO for years, and they used to report seeing this damn thing. And it's now declassified that it is a government spaceship, that it is a government ship. Like,
let me see. I'm gonna
this
try to pull it up.
thing is it's cynical that
didn't we talk
we
about
talked
this?
about this once.
Shout
we
out,
did.
cynical.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, I threw your name in there real quick, but
I think we talked about this in a previous episode, right?
we did touch on it.
Yeah.
But that right there, that's the picture right
This
there.
one right here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's a good idea of some of the tech that our government has. A good idea. Because best believe they got more. And they just not telling you that that's what it is. And if you see that in the sky, you down sure gonna think that's something from another planet.
Look at it over the city there. I remember this.
You know, they have the because we talked about the Arizona footage on that one too.
Yeah.
Where you just can't. And the irony that my name is Tr3bel, and I was thinking about changing my name, and I typed in Tr3b and hit go by accident, bro, and that's how I found out about this shit.
Wow. Oh, I thought you did it. I thought it was on purpose because of that.
No.
Wow.
Not at all.
That's crazy.
Fun fact, Tr3bel came from me freestyling in the backyard with my cousin, and I just was like, yo, I'm just a rebel in the T. And I said that, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, I can maybe make that something, because I learned about a bass treble clef, and knowing that you can't write music without it, so I kind of played on that whole concept.
Your origin name is way cooler than mine. I don't even want to say mine. Basically, mine is my last name, but it looked cool when I was a kid working at Burger King. I made it like graffiti on my name tag, and I stuck with it. So,
hey, man, to each their own. Every hero got to have an origin story.
Shout out Burger King.
Yay, Burger King. But yeah, man, so I just think that this is a very important topic that we have to mix in with other topics, about current things, because we don't ever want to lose track of the reality. But this is happening right now. And people, for the love of God, all of you people who keep saying, what do you want? What do you expect me to do about it? What do you want me to do about it? Nothing. Don't do nothing. Fuck it. The people who want to learn, the people who want to actually live a better life and actually have access to this shit, we're going to go do something about it. We're going to go ask some questions. We're going to go ring some doorbells. We're going to figure some shit out. Y'all can stay over there and do nothing. And when shit start getting unfolded, don't expect us to break y'all off shit.
And before we wrap it up, I do want to say I watched They Clone Tyrone.
Yeah, boy.
Man, what a good movie, man.
I love the way they did it because it was entertaining.
It was so entertaining. And at the end, that might be a spoiler. At the end,
we can spoil it.
It's been long enough, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
At the end of it, that was actual Tyrone in California, right? Because that wasn't Tyrone the whole movie. The very, very end was Tyrone watching it unfold on the couch in California, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But the irony of it is, though, he still don't know shit that happened.
Right.
He doesn't know how the hell did they even get Tyrone's shit and put it over there.
Yeah.
This is what the guy was telling you in the lab. Yeah, major spoiler alert.
Yeah. This is the last segment. If you don't want to know this,
turn this shit off.
Yeah. What's our ending? What do we say? Till next time. Yay. All right, we're good. All right. Continue.
So basically, the older version of himself that was in the lab when he got all the way up there, he was trying to convince him that the reason he was doing this is so that they could perfect changing black people into white people so they could integrate into the culture without them ever realizing that we get all of the same benefits and blah, 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 blah.
That's why there was the weird looking white people.
And that's what he said. The first prototypes didn't work out.
Look at this motherfucking Muppet over here.
Like, why these white niggas got afros? Like, what the hell? But you realize he was saying that was something about the genetic code he couldn't change.
He couldn't, right.
This goes into a thought process called the ethereal beings, and you got 6 ether, 9 ether, different beings like that, but non-ether beings supposedly are the ones with the curly hair, things like that. And and 6 ether beings have more like straight hair. I won't go too far, but I think this is kind of what they touched on in a way when he mentioned that. I also want to ask you about how you felt about the Olympia Black thing.
What's
Remember when Kiefer Sutherland's character came and said Olympia Black, and then he could control.
Oh, and he's froze. Yeah.
And he can make them do what he wanted on command.
That's what he did to control the old version of him. The other version to kill the old version of himself.
Yeah,
Right.
It can only work on clones. But tell me that's not exactly what we was talking about with the Manchurian Candidate situation.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what we were talking about.
How they got cold words that can make your mind just dumb out.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what Olympia Gold is.
Just can't. It was Olympia Black, I think. It was. I said Olympia Gold, my bad. Nonetheless, Jamie Foxx just came out with a post and deleted it and said something along the lines. I gotta paraphrase it because I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said, "If they can kill Jesus, what you think they're gonna do to you?"
He just randomly posted that?
Yeah, on his Instagram, and then deleted it because everybody was like, "What the fuck, Jamie Foxx?"
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's weird.
This shit is coming out. It's
man. Yeah, man. I love it.
We got more to talk about.
We do. But we will do that next time.
Yeah.